Hey everyone, Angelo here, Hollywood filmmaker, greatest screenwriter in the history of the world, recovering homeless guy. 2 days out from Trump's inauguration, and it was just a flurry of executive orders and statements indicating a lust to inflict pain and cruelty on others. And I don't know how it's not so embarrassing for Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg to stand there lining up like the oligarchs they are, bowing to the patriarch. That I don't know how that's not embarrassing. And to be clear, I'm not some resistance liberal. America's been an oligarchy since maybe I don't know the first industrialist, capitalist, or even before then. I mean, if the slavery industry, it was not purely just about exploiting black and brown people and being cruel to them, but it was about enriching their white owners. So, speaking of that kind of racist abuse, Elon Musk, who, yes, he did that salute. Yes, it was intentional. He probably rehearsed it. Um, he's from South Africa, the apartheid regime. His mom moved from Canada to South Africa because she admired the apartheid system there so much. Apartheid, if you don't know, and the South African system is basically the white colonialists brutalized and exploited, made poor, kept poor, etc., the black people there. And Musk is a frequent flyer in this kind of imagery and rhetoric. He posts like Kek memes. Kek is a thing that gamers use to. It's basically a substitute for Nazi, but like it sounds like laugh, like heck or something. It's like laughter. So it's like it's always a joke. It's always irony, always winking, and by doing that, you have the built-in excuse, the plausible deniability for expressing straight-up white supremacist sentiments. And when Musk did that, he not only did that, he did the chest pump thing too. That is vintage um, white supremacist fascist stuff from like 1930s, 1940s Germany. He knew what he was doing. He's very online. He's on Twitter constantly. He owns Twitter. He desperately wants people's approval. I think he did this as a troll, but I say that in a specific meaning because I don't mean it's just a joke and that's it. What I mean is it's sincere. He did it as a troll, but the problem is he reaps the benefits of having sincerely done it. He likes that it makes people angry. He did it because he knows it's so popular online. There's so many online circles, online gamers that lust after him, that want his attention, and he wants to make friends. I don't think he has real friends. We've learned now that he pays people to play video games for him. Like he's paying people to live his life for him. He has like 10 or 12 kids. I'm sure he's not in their lives. I know he's not in his transgender child's life. And good for the kid that Musk, the father, is out of there. Excuse me. But Musk is part of a culture online where this kind of like edging people to try and do more and more of this white supremacist messaging is all done in a culture where it's normalized and it's funny. So it's like if you don't get it, oh, like you're in the out group. So it immediately creates an out group and an in group that understands what this salute that Musk did was. And it's de facto way of creating a white supremacist movement, or really fueling it, expanding it. As soon as he did that, I knew white supremacists were absolutely thrilled over it. They were over the moon. And then sure enough, I heard some of their statements about it. They love it. I knew they would. This is an old thing. I used to monitor white supremacists for thousands of hours, listen to their podcasts, read their chats, sometimes read their articles. Those are a little much. Like, it's really disturbing to see. I even just yesterday went to an old libertarian organization's website that I used to have at the top of my bookmarks when I was in college, and I would read them every day. and I haven't looked at them in almost like 20 years. And I wanted to see what they were up to, what they were doing. And I was stunned that they took a hard right into race science. Now, these people, these libertarians, from what I knew them, one of their big things was very anti-war, which they still seem to be kind of be, but now they're just making excuses for saying there's no racism and literally peddling race science about human capital and inherited genetic characteristics where black people across the world commit more crime than white people. Bootlicking for the police for the way we count what crime is, ignoring the conditions of black populations, and doing a lot of generalizing. But the way we count crime, the way crime is enforced, what laws are created that target specific populations and which target other ones, or don't target other ones. So I'm like, wow, like this is very expansive, very disturbing. And the thing is, I knew by doing this because this is what they were doing for years online. Oh, and the Kek thing and Kekistan flag, that's like the Kekistan flag, if you look it up, it's just straight up a like sort of just a reworking of a swastika flag. But it's all done ironically. It's all done as a joke. It's all in gamerdom, and it's all supposed to be fake. I knew by doing this, the right wing would make excuses for it in the Trump administration, and that's all they are. So you have to not look at them as arguments for why this Musk salute didn't matter, and all the arguments about, oh, he has autism, he doesn't understand. Yeah, like there's a difference between someone with autism and someone who does that. People with autism, they know right and wrong. Like that doesn't, that it's trying to reclaim like this kind of, anyways. All it is an excuse for this, because what it's saying is, well, Musk did this fascist salute. He very much did it, the 1930s German salute. And because it doesn't matter, there's no need to reflect on the impact it had, where white supremacists are loving it. No need to reflect on what informed it and inspired it in the first place, which is Musk gets a lot of this imagery online from people, from his fans, and like this far right extremist exterminationist movement online that's always mired in jokes. That way you can make it normal and make it palatable and make it fun and make it so you have the in-group that gets the joke and the out-group is against it. He loves that it makes people angry. Musk genuinely hates, I'm not proud of saying this at all, but when I was a libertarian, I hated the idea of like affirmative action and stuff because I thought, well, people are already basically equal. So people of color and minorities are just asking for special privileges because they feel entitled. I'm not proud of that at all, that I used to believe that. I'm not clear like how much I consciously was aware of that. Obviously, I wasn't fully, and that's why it's important to be woke, to be conscious and awakened to what racism is and how pervasive and systemic it is. But I know Musk hates that stuff. It comes out of his statements. That hate oozes out of him because to him, he literally said like high status males should run society, and high status by that's the term basically in the white supremacist movements mixed around with like misogynist stuff like incels. It's very ugly stuff. And by making these excuses for it, as I'm looking at least Stefanik did in front of Chris Murphy on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He asked her about it, like, are you concerned about these white supremacists who are excited about this? And he read some of their statements and named them. And Stefanik said, what I'm concerned about is, and then changed the subject to ostensibly, to anti-Semitism. Like, no, we're not worried about fascist salutes with exterminationist rhetoric behind it for Jews. We're just worried about anti-Semitism. By doing that, they're making the excuse that going forward, it doesn't matter if it happens again. And it won't matter. It'll never matter. It'll always be a joke. But the problem is, if you be a fascist as a joke, you're being a fascist. This is deeply inspiring to a lot of fascists, and it normalizes it, and it gets more people to nakedly want it. And it's this kind of poison that burns itself as fuel, because it's never enough. Like, it's never enough to just be well. It's always like just beginning for people. They need more to satisfy that urge to inflict cruelty and pain on others, on black and brown people and Jews, Arabs, immigrants, etc. As we saw LGBTQ people as well being called out for as targets of persecution. Trump's inauguration, that's all part of that movement too, because they believe, like Elon Musk, well, I won't get ahead of myself, they believe that transgender people and the movement for transgender rights is a part of a plot, a global plot to demasculate white men, to depopulate the white race, and to ultimately wipe out the white race in order to it's a plot by the Jews, and they pay for the politicians who are too afraid of being called racist to enforce laws against supposed criminals like black and brown people and immigrants. And that's literally the white supremacist theory. Musk has said that again and again. He's made statements about that. He even made statements calling out the Jews before for bringing immigrants here, and then he claimed that same theory, basically, that they're doing this and bringing people here who hate us. And that's when he had to do his apology tour with Ben Shapiro and the ADL. Criticized him, but then said, oh, no, he's good. He probably donated a bunch of money to them. And now the ADL is straight up just defending him. Like, they're saying, no, this wasn't what you think it was. It wasn't exactly what you saw. So what they're all saying is, there's no reason to reflect on anything that happened. There's no reason to try and stop this from happening again. We have the excuses built in that, no, that's not really a fascist salute. And by the way, for Elise Stefanik, so pathetic. I can see her very much in 6 months losing her job as, what is it again? UN envoy or something? Oh, U.S. ambassador to the, it's a hearing on her nomination to be U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. She knows what this is, and I very much see, because the Trump administration is going to be so dysfunctional, I can very much see her losing her job in 3 to 6 months, and later being sort of the claiming to be having been a moderating voice in the Trump administration and a voice of reason, and that she tried to rein in their worst impulses and get a book deal and make a lot of money on it, which is what so many of these losers are trying to do. And even other people in the government who have been a part of it, or not even just been a part, but journalists who kept quiet about horrible stuff Trump was involved with for years, and only more recently come out and want to make money on it. So Musk knows what he's doing. He loves that it makes people angry. By the way, Elise Stefanik, this is like HR for the Trump administration. This the way she responded to Chris Murphy reminds me of how HR was dealing with me when I reported abuse at a big Hollywood film company. Just the idea, no, this didn't happen. We just but we always are concerned about if it actually does happen, and it's basically an excuse for, well, nothing needs to change, and we're not going to acknowledge any. It's not even about just all that, but it's really, we're not going to acknowledge anything bad happened, because if we acknowledge it, that means we have to commit going forward to stopping it. And we have to actually say, we have to reflect on how this was able to happen in the first place and our complicity in it. And this is just like HR for the whole country now doing this. The HR at my old company, the person I reported to, that you should go work for the Trump administration. You'd be good at covering up this stuff. So know that, be vigilant, be aware, be learned, listen to people's experiences, and good luck to us all. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.